Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Dune, a science fiction film from 2021. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to stream on HBO Go. So go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot. Welcome to Screen Riot, the podcast where we review movies chosen entirely by fate. If you're having difficulties finding movies to watch, then this is a podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and alongside me are co-hosts Eddie, Kyle, and John. And each week, one of us spins the wheel of fate, and the host must pick any movie from that genre. If you'd like to see all the movies that we've reviewed so far and how they've ranked, visit ScreenRiot.net and have a look at the movie ratings page. At the end of each show, we'll spin and see what next week's movie is going to be so that you can follow along at home. Also, while you're at ScreenRiot.net, make sure you head over to the support page to see all the different ways that you can help support the show. So, like I said at the very opening there, the movie we're taking a look at is Dune. It's rated PG-13, has a runtime of 2 hours and 35 minutes, and was directed by the French director that we've had on a couple times here, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Denis?
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
That's how you say Dennis, but in French.
Yes.
In that French talk.
Denis.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was saying it like John would say it.
What did you call Javier Bardem earlier? Javier Bardem?
Yeah, Javier Bardem.
I like that one.
What time do you go to bed? I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
That's the
I know.
No Country for Old Men.
I know.
Call it.
So, if this is the first time you've heard of one of our podcasts when we talked about Denis Villeneuve, he's done Prisoners 2013, Enemy 2013, Sicario 2015, Arrival 2016, which I think is one of our highest rated movies. It might be the highest. I have to go look.
It's a Raval.
Yeah,
might be.
Arrival.
Sicario was excellent, by the way.
Sicario,
yes.
yeah,
absolutely.
Sicario was excellent.
Yes, it was.
It did
Sicario
have
2, not so good.
not so
No.
great, but Sicario 2 failed because it involved more of budget rate Javier Bardem, which is Benicio del Toro. And in the first one, in Sicario, the first one, they just kind of kept him. They were like,
Well, he was mysterious.
yeah, they're like, we're gonna like, shh, just over here, just. Yeah, I know it's a Mexican movie. Over here, a little bit, a little bit of a space.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, Sicario is great. I think that's actually on my list.
Sicario.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie.
It's good. It'll get a whole 3 from Eddie.
It's a great movie.
That's excellent.
3.5. Go ahead. Continue though, sir. Sorry.
But he also did Blade Runner 2049 in
Yeah.
2017, which I actually haven't seen yet.
I didn't like it.
Then he did this, Dune 2021.
That's proving John's point, by the way. I'm like, I didn't like it. He's like, what are you gonna say?
But he does have Dune Part 2 planned for the release of 2023.
Yep, it's already been greenlit.
Yeah, because what they were doing is they were waiting to see the kind of interest that this one garnered.
Which I think is always the dumbest shit you can do, but go ahead.
Yeah, so they were waiting for this, and it kind of did pretty well. So they went ahead and greenlit Part 2.
I mean, might as well just go balls out like Mel Brooks did with History of the World Part 1.
Well, it's frustrating because
Just don't do a Part 2.
Well, I mean, we're living in Part 2.
but what's
you're right.
frustrating to me is whenever they decide to do that, they always make sort of a half-ass first movie, and then they go, it's because it's part of this trilogy. Well, then the trilogy doesn't get made because the first movie sucks so much. That's what I appreciate about the Matrix. The first movie stands by itself. If the first movie just stopped there,
Yes.
yeah, he flies away at the end, which is dumb as fuck. But at least the movie could stand on its own, and it's a complete movie.
Yeah.
Like this movie.
But it wasn't from a novelization though.
No, true. But anytime they make a movie that they decide it's going to be part of a trilogy before it actually has been approved to be part of a trilogy, it seems to fall apart. Like the movie The Golden Compass. I think I've talked about it before on the show. I like the movie. The movie itself is kind of interesting. It's got like this whole world that they started to build, and then they have a half-ass climax at the end, and Daniel Craig just sort of fizzles out, and the whole it doesn't make any sense towards the end of the movie. It just falls apart. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? And the girl ends the movie, the main character is just like, but we'll see what tomorrow holds. We'll see in the next chapter of blah, blah, blah. And you're like, there is no fucking, it's been 15 years. There's not going to be another chapter because you made a shitty first movie. So had they screwed this up with this one, luckily enough people were interested, but it's like, you kind of blow your wad. Like, do a good job in the first movie, and that way the rest of us can see the second movie. You dicks.
I mean,
it just bothers me.
You told me at least
Yeah.
not to do any research or
Yes.
like anything else. So I watched this as
Cold.
trying to see it if it's a full film, see if it actually explains what it needed to explain. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah,
no, I know.
there's questions I have and stuff that we'll get into.
It is a 2.5 hour prelude.
Yep. But go ahead. Let's continue on before we get there.
So like I said, part 2 is scheduled for 2023 right now. But he's also working on a TV miniseries called The Sun. It's in pre-production right now, and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yeah,
huh?
so Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be doing a TV miniseries, apparently. And if it's a miniseries, it'll probably be HBO, I imagine, because of the success he's having on HBO right now with Dune.
Right.
But of course, there's no Oscar or anything about that because the movie's so new and all that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, so, I mean, really... I've seen parts of the original of the 1984, I believe, and I don't really remember much about it. So it was almost like I was with you, Kyle, like going into this movie cold.
Yeah, I was like,
it was almost like it was
dead.
all brand new material to me.
Yeah.
But John, you said that you watched this a couple months or a month ago or something, or whenever it first came out.
No, I didn't watch this one. I watched the original. Dune
okay,
a few months ago. Half of it.
Okay.
I did not enjoy it.
Well, see, now here's the problem, though. Comparing it to the first one is hard because the first one screws up a couple things from the books, but it also gives you more of the story.
Well, I wasn't going to make a comparison. between
Okay,
the two.
my bad.
I was just going to say, I did not enjoy it. But I understood more during that one.
It helped you with this.
Yeah.
Oh, you understood the story more with that one than you did this one.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Going into it cold.
Gotcha.
Because you've got... I'm not comparing the two, but as far as like quality-wise, because the first one is just absolutely terrible. And Eddie will disagree. But... Which is odd because I'm saying something's terrible and he's going to say something's better than that.
Because he has a nostalgic.
No, it's not even the reason. But go ahead.
But you've got the dialogue, the exposition at the beginning of this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's much longer in the original. Too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I was going to say, because one of my problems I had with this movie going into it was like the first 10 minutes is so exposition heavy that it's you're trying to drink from a water hose of
in the desert. Trying to find water in the desert. Yep.
Well, just of exposition. Like they go over like the war that's happening. Not the war, but the emperor hates us, and we're House Atreides.
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 Yeah.
And House Harkonnen.
I hate the way they pronounce it in this one. It's Harkonnen.
Harkonnen,
right?
It's Harkonnen, but the way they pronounce it in this is Harkonnen.
Harkonnen, yeah, that's what they kept saying.
And I don't like it. I like the original. I don't know if it's the right way from the book. I don't know if they got the author, dug him up, and said, "Hey, how do you pronounce this?"
I'm sure they probably
it's frustrating.
They probably talked to his son because his son is continuing to write the books as much as I know.
Yeah,
right?
and it's probably right to say Harkonnen, but it just sounds weird to me. It's Harkonnen in the original one.
Yeah. But that was just one of my biggest complaints about this is because after about 10, 15 minutes, I had to pause and go like, okay, wait. Okay, so this is what's happening. This is happening. I had to like do a quick kind of like a recap, a re-synopsis of everything I just watched in just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I will say the other two movies that come to mind that do this is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring,
which I'm not a fan of,
and I absolutely love it, and Star Wars,
which I'm not a fan of,
which I like Star Wars too. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you're not a fan of this one.
Well, and I will say, like, I don't want to compare to the first one that much. I really don't.
Right.
There's going to be parts where we have to talk about it because of how they made this one, the 2021 version. But talking about that heavy exposition on this one, the thing that I think that they fell down with is they had her voiceover, but they didn't actually show anything with what was going along with her voiceover. They were just like, and the Harkonnens have been here and they've slaughtered lots of people. As they're showing that, it's just like showing a ship. They're not showing like main characters. They're not showing like, well, who are the Harkonnen? Like, how do we discern who are the Harkonnens versus who are the Fremen?
You're right, because I had no idea.
The Fremen,
Fremen, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously Fremen, but
yeah, but the Fremen, like how do we discern which groups are which? And then that part in the I hate to compare,
confusing.
but in the 1984 one, they do show you exactly who they're talking about. So whenever you get into it, you're kind of like, okay. And the reason why they do it is there's so much in the book. Like that beginning part covers like 50 pages of the book.
Well, this book, this book has historically been been known as unfilmable.
Yeah, it's 900 plus pages long.
But I mean, accept the challenge. I mean, they obviously did it with Lord of the Rings and was because a lot of those books were also considered unfilmable for a long time.
Yeah. Could do it in cartoon, but couldn't do it in film.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Hobbit cartoon was badass, though. I'm sorry.
No, I liked
Back
it
in the
too.
day,
Yeah, it was great. I remember I watched it in school. Did you watch it in school?
Maybe, I don't remember, but I definitely watched it right after The World of David the Gnome one day on Nickelodeon.
Oh, David the Gnome.
That was all about a little Dr. Gnome that rides a fox around the forest.
Heck yeah.
I mean, like, to me, if a book is unfilmable, make it into a TV series, especially in today's world.
I totally agree. This would have been a lot better as like a Game of Thrones style.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you're cramming in a first half of the book or something like that into 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. That's a huge challenge, and to me, impossible. Just because if you have people that really enjoy the book and you love the detail that's in the book and you know everything that's about the book, and then you watch this movie and you're like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah,
I watched like a recap of what the first half of the book was. But if you do a TV series, you could break it up into 10 episodes that are an hour long. Mm-hmm. You got 10 hours of footage or of showtime that you can do.
Yeah, and you could spread the exposition out between things, follow different tribes, and
yes,
yeah, you could take your time on things.
You can get to know the Harkonnen, you can get to know the Atreides, you can know who the hell the Emperor is and why he apparently wants the Atreides dead. Or
okay.
I don't know what was going on.
Can we talk about that? Because that was one of my biggest concerns with this. Is we kept hearing over and over that the Emperor hates the Atreides family,
but you don't know why. Okay,
yeah.
so listen, I'm gonna.
As far as I remember, that's never explored.
I mean, to me, I would be pissed off at the Harkonnen because they're richer than me.
So I'll tell you this real fast. I'm gonna tell you guys all kinds of stuff in this movie about this movie, but you can't say the words mansplain fucking once.
Ooh,
can't say it.
About the press
Kyle, I'm gonna press
okay,
it.
well, it's up to you.
Mansplain.
The reason why the Emperor doesn't like the Atreides, if you think about it like Star Wars, we'll use Star Wars, okay? The Harkonnens are basically the Darth Vader side, and the Atreides are basically the Luke Skywalker side, the Jedi side, right? So the whole universe looks to the Atreides now as like this shining light of the universe. Everyone wants to be with the Atreides because they're so free. Everyone there's free. They can live a good life. They can do what they want to do. Well, I don't want to go Harkonnen. They do crazy shit like boil people in oil and stuff. They're fucking weirdos, right? So the Emperor, who's supposed to be in power, is watching these two houses grow. The reason why he doesn't hate the Harkonnens and he's allowed them to grow as rich as they do is because Baron Harkonnen knows his place and is willing to serve the Emperor at least in on face value. Right. So he's like, no, I would never take over. He's like, you've allowed me to take Arrakis and to run the spice trade. It's made my family very rich, our planet very rich. I'm deferring to you, the Emperor. The Atreides, on the other hand, getting a little big for their britches is basically the way that the Emperor looks at it.
So
they're kind of snooty.
They're a little snooty, but
he just wants to take them down a peg.
He wants to take them down a peg, and by take them down a peg, he means destroy everybody in their lineage. But yes, something like that.
That's another thing too. Is
kill their entire family.
They kept talking about the Emperor. It
never shows him,
but never showed the Emperor.
Yeah, it's annoying.
I at first I thought that the Baron was the Emperor.
So did I.
Because he was very, very powerful, and it's like, oh, okay, are they talking about him when they're talking about the Emperor?
You brought up the Baron, and you said that he was a very interesting character. What they show and what he actually is so vastly different. And even in the 1984 one, not to try to compare, but even the 1984 one, they don't go into who he is 100%. And it's like, there's a lot of shit dealing with Baron Harkonnen that doesn't ever get dealt with because his backstory is insane. Well,
that's what makes him interesting to me is the mysteriousness that surrounds him.
Well, true, but if you read the book, it's not mysterious. He's just he's a badass. He actually is a badass. The thing is that his body has been taken from him on purpose. Is the only way I can explain it.
Oh, so he's not just fat?
He's fat, but okay. I don't want to fuck up. Well, it never gets talked about in the movie, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, the only thing I can go on is what I've seen in this movie. I haven't read the books.
Mother Superior of the Bene Gesserits, the woman who does the Gom Jabbar against
Isn't that
Paul?
the
Against-
donut holes you like at the Indian restaurant?
no, that's Galoob Jamun.
Oh.
The Gom Jabbar was the poison
Is that
needle.
one of the houses?
Yeah, was the poison needle she held up to his neck whenever she talked about
her,
the pain
yeah.
machine and all
Yeah.
that. So she and Baron Harkonnen used
Which
to
is
bang.
a direct rip off of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, but they used to bang, right? Yeah, they used to be together. When he looked like
the Baron.
when he looked like Raban, when he looked like Dave Batista in this, they used to bang, right?
Okay.
They actually gave birth to Lady Jessica, Paul's mother.
Yeah,
See,
that
none
was
of
that
is-
was her mother. That was her mother.
Yeah,
I
but no. So here's the thing: it is, but she calls her Mother Superior because she's the Mother Superior of the Bene Gesserit. She
That's
leads,
what I thought.
She leads
Yeah.
the Bene Gesserit. In the
But
Bene
it's-
Gesserit, once you have your baby, you no longer like the baby's part of the order. It's not.
Oh, you relinquish.
Yeah, she's her mom, but she's not.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
But she is.
But she is, and so is and the Baron Harkonnen. Baron Harkonnen is her dad. Now, whenever she was born,
Does she know that?
I don't know. That I don't remember. But I think so. But whenever she was born, the Baron Harkonnen wanted to take her, and Mother Superior was like, "No, you won't," and basically
Then Judge Emperor
cast
had to
a spell on him, for lack of a better term. Like she used, the voice
right.
that they
the
Oh, yeah,
commanding
yeah.
voice.
The Force?
yes,
The Force.
basically.
This isn't the daughter you're looking for.
The red rum voice.
Yeah.
She used that to fuck his body up and make him like basically fall apart health wise, which is why he's so fat. His legs don't work, which is
Right, he
why
has to
he
fly.
has the levitation things put in him so that he
That's
can
why you
get
have to
around.
soak in motor oil.
Apparently,
I
Yeah,
mean-
the motor oil thing.
Keep him lubed up.
I was just looking at him as a character as everything I want to be. Just want to eat,
So
get
fat.
fat, just fly around
Bathe in olive
Welcome to-
oil mixed with motor oil.
Oh,
Welcome
vinegar,
to hedonism.
with vinegar.
It might have-
Malt vinegar.
Yeah, malt vinegar. Yeah,
gross.
with
Give
Long,
me
Long
my-
John's chicken and malt vinegar.
Give
Here
me
we
my
go.
chicken.
But my complaint with this version is that it touches on all these different, like you have the mensats, right, which are the human computers, right? They barely like. There's
Did they
one-
even talk about that? That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Exactly. I think they say mensat once, maybe.
Who are the human computers?
So the reason, okay. So again, I'm telling you a bunch of shit. So around this movie,
See, but this is a problem with the movie, though.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
a
my
major problem
point.
with
No,
it.
that's my point. I'm giving you all this stuff. Most of this shit is in the 1984 version, which is why I like the 1984 version because it gives you enough exposition. That
Maybe
you're like,
having
oh,
watched this tragedy,
yeah,
I can
appreciate
the first one
Fair
more.
enough. I don't want to go too crazy about it. I'll just say that this movie takes place about 10,000 years in the future, give or take. And
Yeah, 10,191.
yeah, so I guess less than 10,000
got
years.
where they don't allow guns.
8,000 years in the future.
I had that explained to me, which I'll get into.
So,
Okay.
So at some point in the future, humanity births AI, right? And
As we're gonna do.
and the AI destroys the universe, like basically takes us to the point of extinction.
Thanks, Elon.
And the Bene Gesserits, the women priestesses, are one of the factions that fight back against the AI. And it's them, the Space Guild, which they barely fucking
The
touch
Navigators.
on. Yeah, they barely touch on it. And I'm like, that's a huge piece of this whole thing, but it doesn't matter. And then there's another group that gets birthed out of it too that I can't remember all of a sudden. They fight back against the AI and they win. Well, when they win, they say, those groups get together and say, no more computers. Like, there's just not going to be any technology that are computers, like thinking brains. You can have mechanical technology, but you can't have digital technology of any kind.
Machine learning or anything like that. yeah.
Exactly. Which is when, like, all these other, like, guilds, is the only way I can describe it, are formed. So you end up with the human computers, the mensats, right?
Okay.
And they're trained to basically think as fast as a computer. That's how that's what their whole
okay.
job is. I'm trying to think of who was the mensat. A way I could tell you. I think he's the guy with the diamond. No, the diamond on his forehead is Dr. Yu. Shit.
The traitor in this movie.
Yeah, he's a traitor in
Well,
all.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Was it the DeVires or whatever?
DeVries.
DeVries?
DeVries, I believe, is one of the mensats. Yes, and on the Atreides side, though, he's the guy that the black guy that gets.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name.
Thufir?
Thor. Yes,
Thor?
Thor. Yeah,
Okay.
so he's one of the human computers. So they're basically trained to think as fast as a computer. Again,
He's got that thing on his lip, right?
yes, yeah.
That's how
Shit
they
that
tell him apart.
just gets glazed over completely in this movie, though. You don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, because I thought that was just a dude to help the family or something.
Yeah, and
Well,
technically true,
Are
but
you talking about the black man at the very beginning who
he's not at the very
oversaw
beginning. Yes, oversaw the change.
oversaw the
stuff.
change?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
he was called what, the judge of change or something, or
I don't know. It's just the fur Howat or Hawat or something.
well, we meet another judge of change or
Yeah, it's the
overseer
female.
of change. Yeah, the female that come in.
that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
he was
the
already
general,
on
the
yeah.
defense general.
Yeah, he was
the,
already on the planet.
James Earl Jones. Yeah,
Yeah, budget
Budget
James
Earl
Earl Jones.
Yeah,
That's the only way I
pretty
could
good.
think of his name. Gotcha. Okay. Well, another thing that was confusing to me was the suit shields that they had, or the body shields.
Those
Yes.
are pretty damn cool.
those
They
were
were
pretty
cool, but it confused me about how they worked.
They take your sweat in.
Oh no,
And
no,
recycle it?
Not those. I'm talking about the personal
The actual
shields.
shield
the
shields.
Oh, the
shields that
actual
they could
shield.
turn on.
I don't think they explained how they work.
They don't. I had to have somebody
mean-
explain it to me.
I mean, from what visually I could tell was there was a shield, and then as the shield got penetrated more, it turned red, but you could still penetrate the shield eventually.
yeah.
The slow blade penetrates the shield.
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
say. So apparently there are certain weapons that can penetrate the shield. Not everything can.
Well,
is the
it's
way
not-
it was described to me.
It's not so much certain weapons; it's the speed of the weapon. So, like, if I'm fighting you in a knife fight, it's very common, right, that we're gonna slash at each other, right? We're in a knife fight.
All right,
Slash,
so the
slash, slash,
slower
slash.
the thing is,
But if
the
I
more
can move, if I can be so in control of myself that I can come up to you and get there quickly and then slowly penetrate the shield and now stabby, now I get to
that's
win.
why guns don't work in this world.
Well, there is a type of gun that does, though, that they fire. It's like a screw.
You see
and
it
what
at the
happens?
end.
Yeah, it gets fired.
Yeah.
It hits the shield, and then it like
Oh,
burrows its
that's-
way in.
Okay.
That's what they were
That's
doing.
what took place. Yeah, but again, you
It's
don't know
interesting.
that because the shit doesn't get
I
shown well.
just thought it was. I thought it was a pretty cool artillery.
No, it is.
because it's just like I didn't realize though that. I mean, I realized that the buildings had those shields.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that the shields only accepted like slow things.
moving things.
So I'll
Yeah.
say this: the 1984 version, the shields look very blocky and very cheesy, very 1984.
Right.
But I think that you can visualize what is taking place better than you can when they're invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
see what
it
I'm
would have
saying?
been super easy for just a line of dialogue or something like that.
Well, there is a line.
when they were doing the sword fight
one
training.
line.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There was.
Yeah, he
Yeah, there's
says
one
he
line,
says
that's
the
it,
slow
bro.
the slow sword is what'd you say?
The slow blade penetrates the shield.
He says that verbatim in the sword fight thing, but I had no idea what he was talking about.
I just thought that it was just like, hey, don't be slow.
Don't be slow.
That's what I thought.
Because you're fighting, so don't
Yeah.
be a slow ass.
all they would have had to do is have them fix it or something, and they're like, okay, here's this, and
So there's a lot of stuff like
know-
that. There's a lot of stuff like that that I there's things about this movie. Let me say this real fast. There's things about this movie I appreciate. I love the look.
Oh, it's
if you
great.
take
yeah.
away the dialogue and you completely disregard that you should be learning something about this world,
It's a National Geographic film.
I love the look of it. It's beautiful.
my notes I have, it's visually stunning, an amazing score, and great job building a universe.
See, I don't agree with the last one. But
well,
there's-
they've built a universe that you can live in. You don't know about it. You don't know about it yet. So
Okay.
I'm glad that they greenlit a second one.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe that will make this first film better.
I mean,
Maybe.
I honestly at the very end, I'm really wanting more.
yes.
I was
and
too.
it's
yeah.
definitely making me want to watch the second one, which
Yeah.
is good. I mean, I think that's what this movie was made for,
well, I'll say that
is to actually have the repeat money coming in.
I agree, but it kind of goes back to your point. Like I'm glad they greenlit a second one, but considering how little they did in this first one, I'm hoping that they greenlit like numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 too. Because there's not.
I hope
enough.
it's going to be like a Harry Potter trilogy.
Yeah, because there's not enough. They didn't cover enough land in this first one.
No.
Like,
Well, now they can ride the worms.
oh, good.
So there you go.
Which I thought was weird, but
The worm riding thing.
I'm like, oh, you can ride them now? Cool. It's almost like the Timothee Chalamet's character just like leveled up. It's like, oh, you could ride worms. You just unlocked worm riding.
Did he do it in the movie? I
No.
don't- no. He just watched somebody else
saw
do it.
somebody else do it. And he was
Yeah.
like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beetlejuice.
Again, I'm hoping they show
Michael
that.
Keaton.
I'm hoping they show that in the second one, but we'll
That'd
see.
be funny.
I do like the way the movie looks, though overall, I
Right.
really
Oh, yeah.
do. But
Yeah, for
I
sure.
just wish they did a better job of the story. See, my problem with it is storytelling.
Yes.
It
Yep.
didn't go far enough. Well, I got other problems too, but that's my number one. Is like, what did they actually seriously accomplish? They took out the family. Good job, but why?
Right.
Why did it take? You guys have questions. I know why, but I've done a little more research and I've watched the first movie over and over again. You guys are like, well, why? That's not a good movie if
No.
you don't know why
Right.
the fuck
Well,
a family was just slaughtered.
Well, I felt like I spent a majority of the first half of the movie trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, not what's going on. Obviously, I mean, the story's not
It's not that complicated.
that complicated,
Yeah.
but trying to figure
it's
out
the lack of information
Right.
that's making me go,
Yeah.
why?
why is the Emperor mad at these people?
Yeah.
What am I missing? How do these shields actually work?
Why did
that-
Why did the Baron leave in the first place? Because the Emperor wanted him off.
it was a
and
trap.
It was a
It was an
was a
imperial
trap.
decree.
But it was a trap.
Yeah.
I mean, Harkonnen,
a trap for who?
For the Atreides. Harkonnen and the
okay.
Emperor were working together to take out the
to
Atreides.
take out the Atreides.
Yeah, the Harkonnens, whatever,
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
hate the Atreides anyway. So the Emperor said, "Listen, you're gonna be super pissed at me." Oh, okay. On the surface, because we're gonna take out the Atreides together. Oh, okay.
And we're gonna give him a shit planet with shit gear.
Yeah,
and
then you're gonna move in.
basically made to fail.
Yeah, and you're gonna move in middle of the night and take them out.
They knew they wouldn't be able to defeat them on their home planet
Yep.
Right.
because they
So you move 'em
like
off.
they said they've got control of
yeah.
the air, they've got control of the water,
Yep.
Yeah,
but they don't have control of the desert.
true.
They don't have desert power.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
make them move into your house and you disable everything,
Right.
make everything useless.
Wait, this door doesn't have a lock. Don't worry about it.
So can we break for a second and talk about specific characters real fast?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Let's go for it.
So I hated Duncan Idaho.
Oh yeah, house potato.
I hated him.
Yeah.
It was what's the guy's name?
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I normally like Jason Momoa
With no beard.
Yeah, which is
That-
my biggest complaint.
That
actually.
was weird.
I'm gonna tell you, the first time he came on screen,
Yeah,
I watched it with my wife and her cousin. They were like, "What the fuck?"
yeah.
They're like,
No
nope,
beard?
Nope. Mm-mm, don't
Oh,
like
really?
it."
Listen, I'm even willing to say the guy's sexy, but you take off his beard and you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's
what
like, dude, what just happened to you, bro?
It's like that picture. Have you guys seen that meme of Ron Swanson? You know Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, and he's got his
Yeah.
mustache, and then there's the picture of a headshot of that actor
Without the
the
mustache?
mustache,
Yeah.
and they're
It's
like,
like-
"Here's what facial hair can do for you."
It's
like
like,
it's such a big difference.
Put it back on.
It's such a big
please.
difference.
Yeah, I actually said that. I was like, "Put it back on."
Yeah.
This
So
is not good.
So
He
why do
was-
you not like him?
He was just awful. He seemed like he was playing in a completely different movie. Like everybody's like, "We're in this movie. We're in Arrakis. Yeah, I'm a Harkonnen. You're an Atreides. Hi, I'm Jason Momoa. Hey, come over here, Paul. Let's have a conversation." Like he just didn't seem to know what fucking movie he was in. He was way too. He seemed to be enjoying himself when everybody else was like super. Compare Josh Brolin to Jason Momoa.
I like Josh Brolin's character. In
Yeah,
Me
Josh
too,
Brolin
because
was serious with everything
because
else
it
that was
fits.
going on.
Right, and
Yeah.
you got what's his name, the Oscar Isaac or whatever, right? He's serious,
Great,
and
yeah.
it fits, right?
I loved him in this.
So if you think in your mind Oscar Isaac, okay, you put Josh Brolin next to him, makes sense. You put Paul Atreides, Timothee Chalamet next to him,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, same type of, okay, this makes sense. Lady Jessica, somber, serious, makes sense. Jason Momoa's goofy face, no facial hairs, ass.
We needed Aquaman. We needed Aquaman, the depressed Aquaman.
We needed
in
somebody.
this movie.
Yeah,
I read around in a mechanical dragonfly.
I would even have taken fucking his character from
Cal Drago.
Yeah, I would even have taken Cal Drago. Perfect. Let's get in there. Let's do this.
Nah, he's probably just going, hey, subscribe to my TikTok for more.
It was so odd. I
Yeah, it was
just didn't
pretty odd.
appreciate his character. The other one I didn't like was Dave Batista. I get that he's
Yeah.
playing Beast. I understand he's playing Raban, but fuck, like there's
Well,
nothing he says is gonna make sense. Like
What's his character's name in
in what?
the superhero?
Oh, in Guardians of the
Guardians of the
Galaxy,
Galaxy.
he's Drago.
Drago.
Draco.
It was Drago
Drago.
dressed up
Yeah.
as a Dune character.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
I
it was.
agree.
That's what it was.
I
That's what
agree
it
with
was.
you. Yeah, I don't know. There were different ones. I didn't like. I was okay with the actor as far as being Dr. Yu. What I didn't like about Dr. Yui was I didn't appreciate that they didn't give enough for why he was a traitor. Like, did you guys pick up why he was a traitor, Dr. Yui?
No.
The Harkonnen,
Yeah, the Harkonnens,
or
I
whatever.
guess. Yeah.
The H. They had his wife
They
captive.
had his wife captive. Yes.
and they were torturing her.
Supposedly.
Supposedly,
Yes.
so he was basically doing it for his wife.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew that. I thought there was a deeper reason.
No, that's the main reason. But it seemed to get glazed over to me. Like they said it in one line, and it was sort of a background. Like he wasn't in the front of the camera, so it was. I don't know. It felt very weird to me how they released that.
Well, he was talking to Oscar Isaac, the Duke, as he's
doing that.
or
Yeah.
incapacitated.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine because I didn't question it.
Okay, so that's good.
But yeah, he also said it again when he was talking to the Baron.
Did you catch what his diamond on his forehead means?
No, that I did not catch.
Okay.
Was that mentioned in this?
No, it wasn't. So
Well, that's why I didn't catch it.
Yeah. So the diamond on their forehead means
That was
that
a trick question.
means
Yeah,
they've
well,
been through. They've been
Are
through.
we going to be tested on this?
Yeah.
Afterwards? I hope not.
Written exam afterwards.
It means they've
Oh
been,
God.
it means they've been through imperial training and they can be trusted. It means that they serve. They don't serve either of the houses technically. They serve the emperor, right? And they're sent over as doctors.
Oh, okay.
And they're in other key, but sort of not. It's hard to explain, but they're basically they serve as the Dr. Yui serves
The
as
intergalactic doctor community.
Yeah, kind of. And but they've been through imperial training, which means they are trustworthy. You can tell them things, and they are supposed to keep it doctor-client privilege, right? Doctor-patient privilege. That's kind of important because if you think about also the fact that he betrayed Atreides, betrayed Duke Leto. I mean, because he still kind of has some of his loyalty to the Emperor, but in the book, he doesn't really, even though he's gone through the Imperial training and everything, he really has no loyalty to the Emperor. He wants to serve the Atreides, which is again indicative of why the Emperor hates the Atreides, because they are able to they're able to break off people that you're not supposed to be able to break off of. Like he's Duke Atreides is actually bringing people to him that the Emperor has broken at a young age to make loyal to the Emperor only, and he's able to carve them off. Do you get what I'm saying? That just shows how much more powerful the Atreides are getting and why the Emperor hates them as much as they do.
I gotta say a correction with Dave Batista. It was Drax.
Drax, not Draco.
Drax.
Okay,
Yeah.
What's Draco? Is that Drago? Drago's from Rocky.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Good point.
he was Drax the Destroyer. or
Drax the
something like
Destroyer.
that.
Thank you.
I really liked, and I'm. This is another reason. This is my main reason that I'm excited to see part 2.
Oh, let's see who this is.
Javier Bardem.
See, I didn't like Javier Bardem.
I really did. I really liked
didn't
him.
like him.
Javier Bardem.
I did liked him.
I like Javier Bardem.
Listen,
Yeah, I really liked that character. I thought it was pretty good.
I liked him.
I thought he did an excellent job.
see, here's the thing. I like Javier Bardem. I like the character Stilgar. I think Stilgar is a very cool character. I don't like Javier Bardem as Stilgar, and I don't like that Javier Bardem apparently has an accent. I'm sorry, I hate to be this way, but he has an accent that no one else on his planet has. Where the fuck did he get this accent from exactly?
Welcome to Earth.
It doesn't make any sense. Like it bothers me. Everybody else in the Fremen have fairly normal sounding English sounding accents, and then you throw him in. It just breaks me off from the world.
Well,
and I hate to be that way,
Got
but it
punched
does.
in the throat. Come on.
It just bothers me.
Well, and when they run up and they meet all the Fremen and Stilgar, like that scene is so dark. I mean, was it dark for you guys?
Yeah.
Or
Which scene?
the
the
scene
one where they're in the rocks.
Yeah, they're in the rocks
They're
and all.
meeting Lady Jessica and Timothy and Paul.
No, it wasn't
too
dark
dark.
for me.
Oh, it was super dark
Yeah.
for in my viewing, and I don't know. It turned me off because you could not see anything what's going on.
I
wow.
I
Yeah.
saw everything.
Yeah, I
it
did
was
too.
it was fine. You need to
Yeah.
adjust your picture settings on
guess
your
so.
television, sure.
I guess so.
And let me be clear too. Like, typically an accent doesn't take me out of stuff if they just have a mild accent. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But his accent is so thick that it just takes me out.
Well, see, I agree with you there. I mean, not about his accent, but accents in general.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I don't know if it's just me either being subpar intellectually, or my ears don't work, or
Okay.
I've got the southern draw of the ear to where I can't understand multiple accents at the same time. But with this movie, I watched the first 15 minutes, and I looked over at my wife and her cousin. I was like, do you guys mind if I put on subtitles, because I can't understand what the hell's going on.
So you couldn't understand Zendaya's opening exposition
I could
thing?
understand that, but
Okay.
once it got into like the low conversations between
Jessica and Paul.
between Jessica and Paul,
Yeah.
I couldn't understand Jessica to save my life.
No, for some reason, I don't know why, she's quiet as shit in this whole movie. Lady Jessica is quiet as hell this
Well, yeah,
whole
because
movie.
she's doing the sign language thing.
Yeah, there's that. Which,
Yeah, what kind of sound language is that? I mean, it's like it's like
yeah,
what
I don't know.
they're saying whole sentences with like finger wags.
Yeah. Well, there's.
This is the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm mixing universes here.
So let me. Okay, since you guys didn't get anything out of the movie anyway, let me ask you guys this: did you guys get?
I got stuff out of the movie.
Well, no, I'm saying
apparently the spice is a fuel and it's a hallucinogen.
the spice is
hold
all
on.
kinds of stuff.
Is it a fuel?
It's all kinds of things.
It's space dust.
I mean, I know they said that they gave it to the navigators, but I thought that was just like payment. Like,
No,
like money.
they said it's what makes interstellar travel possible.
So
Right, but
here-
because of the navigators, like
it's not.
Oh, I see what you went deep. You did
Yeah.
a deep dive in there.
Well, you're actually right. So here's the thing: it's not fuel. It is a hallucinogen, and what they do.
I was on Team Fuel over here.
Well, they show it in the 19.
Team navigators.
Jesus.
house navigators.
They show it in the 1984 one, but basically, what you ingest the spice, depending on how you use the spice, it does different things. Right.
Okay.
So depending on how you
So
use
it's like
it,
cocaine. Got
a
it.
little bit.
I can see the stars, man.
But it's the same problem I have with the Space Guild. Does some crazy shit, man. Like I said, there's no computers. The Space Guild, whenever they became what they were, they basically formed or formulated a way for interstellar travel, and it's done through, for lack of a better term, magic. Like it's done like through this combination of technology and the spice and the members of the Space Guild themselves, and it allows space to bend. So what happens in the 1984 one, they actually show it, in my opinion, in a really good way through a very simple transition. But a ship will go into one spot, the Space Guild comes, they allow them to like travel through their ship or to be near their ship or some shit. Space bends, now they're next to Arrakis. They were next to this,
that
they
was
were
the
there.
toilet paper tube that was flying.
Yes, they show
Okay.
that toilet
All
paper
right.
tube, but they never show you what the fuck it does.
Oh, I thought that was a ship.
It was a ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was the Harkonnen's ship.
I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be the Space Guild. But again, I don't know because they did a shitty job showing it in this one.
Right,
So
yeah.
I can't tell you. In the 1984 one, you go through a whole thing where you're like traveling with the Space Guild for a second. And that's important.
The one thing that really popped out in my mind of me not really liking at all was the flash forwards, I guess. They weren't really
visions
the
that he
visions.
was
So his visions, yeah.
Yeah, the visions that were like just probably flash forwards. They were like the future. He's
Well,
seeing the future in like I guess the current timeline.
Well, that goes back to what I was about to say about the Lady Jessica Paul hand gesture thing.
Yes.
Okay, so Paul is her son.
Right.
She was supposed to have a daughter.
Right.
You got that from the Mother Superior,
Yes,
right?
She was pissed.
She was pissed. She was supposed to have a daughter. The Bene Gesserit are all women,
Yeah.
and they apparently, with their mind, can control what form of baby, like what gender of baby they're going to have. And she was supposed to have a girl. She was a concubine of Duke Leto, not actually his wife. She was her concubine. She was a concubine.
Right, they do mention that in this
Briefly,
Yeah.
one fucking word. That's it.
I think the Baron says something about your concubine is
gone.
more or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, exactly. When he's about to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was she was his concubine. Well, he fell in love with her. She fell in love with him, and he said, we're gonna have a baby. I want it to be a boy. And she loved him so much that she mind changed the gender to a boy, which pissed off Mother Superior because she was supposed to give birth to the Quetzalcoatl Haderach, which is
Gesundheit.
Give a dog a bone.
which is the
E-I-E-I-O.
the Quetzalcoatl Haderach, which is the
This
the
said
chosen,
came sliding home.
which
Oh
is
my
the,
God.
which is the chosen one for this universe. That's
Okay.
basically supposed to bring alignment to the universe and supposed to save everybody. But that being will be imbued with all of the power, basically, of multiple guilds. So they will have the power of the Bene Gesserit and some of the power, at least, of the space. Like they'll have all these powers. And that's the Quetzalcoatl. That's what she was supposed to give birth to.
Yeah,
but by giving birth to a boy,
Yeah.
pissed off everybody, and that's one
I
more
thought
reason.
it was supposed to be a boy that was born.
Well, I thought that's what the Messiah
No.
was supposed to be.
I thought it was
male.
supposed to be a male that was
Yeah, but
with all this power and stuff. I know she was supposed to.
yeah.
Jessica was supposed to bear a girl, but I thought the prophecy said it was supposed to be a male.
It's supposed to be a male, but there's some weird.
Well, because it wasn't. I think, but the problem is it wasn't supposed to come around yet.
Yeah.
So that's why when she did the male, and it is him.
Yeah, well,
Paul is the one.
No,
the Neo.
technically,
I
no.
think Paul and that Chani chick, Chani chick are supposed to have the chosen one.
Probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit because
if they turn out to be full Star Wars and their brother and sister is really going to piss me off.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not. The 1984 one.
Spoilers.
The 1984 one fucks this up.
Right?
The 1984 one fucks that up. Fucks up the story because Paul's not supposed to be the Quetzalcoatl Haderach. He's not.
Okay.
You've got to stop saying that.
All
I can think is
what are you saying? Zaderak?
Quetzalcoatl Haderach.
Haderach.
No, that's a macaroni.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Zatarans.
Zatarans. Oh, wow. Quetzalcoatl Haderach.
Quetzalcoatl Haderach.
Can you see that?
Yeah, no, but it's very small font.
Yeah,
but I did not like the whole, vision thing and nothing. I was thinking, okay, these are visions. Some sort of, concept of those visions are going to become true. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that when he did have a vision, he was actually stabbed by that one dude. What was that guy's name? Jameis.
Yeah.
He was actually killed by this guy.
Right.
He had a vision of that, but yet when he actually fought him, he beat him.
Well, at the beginning,
but when he was telling Jessica about that vision,
yeah,
he was like, he goes, I was stabbed, but it wasn't me getting stabbed. He actually said it in the dialogue that whenever he was recounting the dream, that he said it wasn't him. He said it was me, but it wasn't me.
But he also, when he's talking to Mother Superior, she's asking about his visions, and she said, "Do they become true?" And he says, "Not the way that I see them," or something.
Right.
Or
interesting.
they're not exactly how I vision them.
So then he's just gonna kill Chani then, because she keeps killing him.
I mean, yeah. You basically you can assume that whatever he sees, some of that will be true, but it won't end up that way.
Yeah, because it's just like I guess it was the same dude that was talking to him about hey, just let the sandstorm take you, or let the wind blow you, or something like that.
Yeah, you have training
right?
to do or something. Yeah.
And then that's when he just like shuts down the vehicle and just lets the sandstorm take him.
Right.
Or take the ship, and so she's like, I'll just be all right. We'll spin, black out, and wake up alive, hopefully.
Yeah.
I
guess.
Okay, so the ships were cool. The dragonflies were cool,
and that's closer to the book. They did that better than the original one, the 1984 one. The ships are fucking weird triangles with like little tiny stubby wing. It just was dumb.
Yeah, I liked all the CGI that dealt with those ships were fantastic.
Yeah,
I really liked the first scene. It was almost like Jurassic Park in a way. Oh, here's this little lamb, let's see this worm eat it type thing. But
when we first see the ships, we first see them flying, and I was like, okay, so it's like a not a mosquito, a
dragonfly.
A dragonfly.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't seem to like improve on like the helicopter design that we have today.
Right.
Very well. But then when the Duke is flying it and he does that dive thing, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
how it's better.
That was really cool.
That's how it's more efficient and all around better.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say real fast, the Quetzalcoatl Haderach thing.
Yeah.
One last
thing.
thing about it. So originally, what was supposed to take place, and I'm saying Mother Superior, it's Reverend Mother. I apologize.
Reverend Mother?
Yeah, it's Reverend Mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Reverend Mother and the Bene Gesserit expect Jessica to give birth to a daughter. That daughter was going to be mated with a Harkonnen male to bridge the houses and fix the universe, because these two houses are growing so powerful that they're like pulling the universe apart, is the way the Bene Gesserit see it. So it was supposed to like fix the houses. Then the Harkonnen male and Lady Jessica were going to give birth, or excuse me, not Lady Jessica, the daughter of Lady Jessica. Those two together were going to then produce the Quetzalcoatl Haderach, which would be under complete control of the Bene Gesserit.
Oh, okay.
But by Jessica being with Leto, giving birth to Paul, and then him being imbued with all this power, that she's training him in the weirding way.
Yes.
Which, did you guys catch that? Probably not.
The weirding way?
It's the way of the Bene Gesserit is what it is, and he's technically not supposed to be trained in it because he hasn't been approved.
That, Right.
He hasn't been approved to be because there's a whole bunch of shit that goes along with that too.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I gotcha.
By her doing all of that, it's fucking up their plans, and that's one of the reasons why the Bene Gesserit, who know what's happening with the Harkonnen, when she meets with Baron Harkonnen, they're both in the know that the Atreides family is about to be wiped out, and they're fine with it.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why. That's why I was trying to this. But the fact that I have to explain all of this shit is not a good movie.
It's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's just not good. I hate that it. I
mean,
wanted it to be good so bad.
Here's the thing: if you're gonna take an hour, to 2 hours and 40,
2 hours and 35.
2 hours and 35 minutes,
Yeah.
just take the 3 hours and do it right.
Well,
Take the 3 hours, 3 hours and 15 minutes, and just do it right.
I wanted them to go 4. Just go 4 hours. I would sit through it. I promise. It would be really good.
There were so many fight scenes in this movie. It got boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because it's like you had some adventure and then you had a fight.
Here's what
you
I
had
think.
some adventure and then you had a fight. But every single time that you had a fight, it's like, okay.
Here's what I think they
swords
did.
And cool.
They threw that stuff in there because they knew that they were going too damn slow, and they wanted something to reinvigorate people.
Yeah.
So they could slow it down again.
I kind of agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This movie just did not make sense at all. It sucks though, because I mean, a movie
It's
like
gorgeous.
it's movie that's this gorgeous and it has a great soundtrack, which Hans Zimmer ever since Inception just took pieces and parts of Inception, just put it in every single soundtrack that he's made ever since. And I don't understand that. It's just it kind of frustrates me.
I told you he's in his 60s now, and he fell asleep on the synth.
Yeah, but John Williams at least
Yeah, but
does some cool stuff. But I know there's there's some Indiana Jones, there's some Harry Potter, there's some you can hear all that stuff in all of his stuff.
When you have a career of 60 years,
You're gonna blend some stuff every once in a while. I understand that.
Gonna start sounding the same.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same way with the ships. The ships look gorgeous. Everything looks great in them, but they're very close to the Arrival ships. Like get way too
Yeah.
close.
Well, you can definitely see it's like the architecture of the buildings, like
Yeah.
the Arrival stuff coming out and all that. And,
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's cool, but wait, I've seen this before.
Well, I mean, I did read a thing here that that Villeneuve he's been wanting to do this movie for a while, but he wanted to do Arrival and Blade Runner first to kind of get his feet wet in like the sci-fi genre to be able to do this movie justice.
I don't know.
I think he needs some training still.
Well, yeah, and it sucks because I think he was. Here's my thing,
Apparently, he read the novels when he was 12.
this is the
Wow.
which is a flaw in this case. Go ahead.
This
John,
is
sorry.
the third script. They went through two rewrites.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would hate to see what the original one was.
It probably gave more information.
It probably could,
And more than
the
likely
studio
they-
probably went.
Yeah,
cut
they
it
were
out,
like, it's too much. Yeah.
Chop it up.
But see, that's my problem with him reading the books. He probably watches and goes, it makes complete sense. I mean, the Bene Gesserits are there, the space
Yeah,
over
'cause
there. We
he's-
explain this, we explain that. Paul's there, Duke Leto's are there, Lady Jessica.
He's
And you're
got
like,
inside.
who the fuck are all these
yeah,
people?
Inside information.
He's got
Yeah.
inside information to make
Yeah.
those connection points.
Well, and that's what pissed me off when I was watching it. I'm watching it going, okay, I know what's happening. And I look at my wife, I'm like, do you know what's happening? She's like, nope. And I'm like, yep, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because they made a movie for fans, which in most cases I would not bitch about.
Right.
But when I'm watching it in this case as a critic, not as somebody who just wants to enjoy it, it's really hard for me to enjoy it because I'm like, there's not enough story here to say that this movie that everything took place.
And
you know?
it can be done because it was done with Lord of the Rings. Now, granted, I haven't read those books, so I don't know how. I know it's not. Well, I read like the first 50 pages of Fellowship of the Ring, and he was still. Tolkien was still on the sunset in the Shire, and I just I can't.
He's
I
still
can't.
describing the grass.
He
in
was
the field.
describing how green the grass was and the flowers and da da da. Like, okay, I get it. The Shire's fucking beautiful. Can we get to the freaking action now?
Yeah.
Right. So I put it down. I couldn't do it. I tried listening to Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that didn't happen.
The
either.
audiobooks?
Yeah, that didn't happen either. So I stopped that. But having said that, I've read all the Harry Potter series. Now, I'm a big fan of the books. When the movies came out, I'm like, okay, there is stuff that's left out, but it's the movie still makes sense.
The movies definitely do hold their own.
The uninitiated don't have to have. They're not lost. You're not missing anything that is absolutely needed to understand what's going on in the Harry Potter universe. Like this movie's missing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
movie's missing that stuff.
Well, yeah. And talking about the Fremen alone, I'm hoping that once we get into the next one that they're going to explain more, but there's so much, like, I mean, I don't know. There's just so much that they barely touched on, and the way that the Fremen are, to me, they come across as like this very weird, like almost like they are naturally rebels and stuff like that. They're not naturally rebels per se. They're naturally wanting to be Fremen, and instead they've been under like government control for 1,000 years.
Right. Yeah.
That's really what's taking place. But the way it comes across is like, oh, these people in the desert, they're pissy, and they seem like they like to fight a lot, and that's not.
The stupid rebels.
Well, you don't really see that they're actually like a whole people. You know what I mean? Like that bothered me. I'm like,
well, no, it's all done through dialogue. It's all done. It's like, okay, at the beginning, she's like, okay, we weren't able to overthrow them. So we went. I don't think she said we went back in exile or whatever, but they couldn't overthrow them or whatever. So that there's a people there, and then Jason Momoa lived with them for a couple of months or however long he was there. So he through dialogue you knew that there were tunnels under the desert all over the place that they lived.
Yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's all their history,
Yes.
Yeah.
And they apparently spit when they respect you.
Which is weird, but do you get why?
Well, yeah, they
Yeah,
watch
because
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
No,
That's
it's
not
it's
it.
because
Water's
it's their
resource.
water is valuable. So
Quench Georgia.
This is how he know you.
oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that? White devil, white devil? Did you just refer to me as white devil?
I mean,
leave that part out.
I think I'm along the lines with Kyle. Like, I started getting into it the closer towards the end of it, and when it ended, it's really abrupt. The ending is super abrupt.
Towards the end, I'm like, oh, finally, we're actually doing something. We're actually meeting up with this chick that.
And next movie, we will talk about those. things.
That he's been having visions for 2.5 hours. We're finally meeting these two, and he's almost being this little freak that he's like, oh, I already know you. But she's like, I don't know who you are at all.
I don't like him, by the way. Timothee Chalamet. I don't
I
like
do.
him.
I like him.
But another thing that kind of pissed me off about this movie was everybody that saw him for the first time. They're like, "Oh, look at you, boy! Well, you're a little boy. You're just a little boy." But then he just kicks ass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait. So
Apparently, in the novel, he's supposed to be 15.
oh, okay.
Yeah, 14, 15. Which, again, in the 1984 one, he looks like he's about 21. So they screwed that up a little bit. John, you had something. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna go back to what Kyle said about they need water, about the spitting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need water. I think that's right.
Yeah. I think they say it in the film.
Oh, did it? Well,
It's
missed
It's
it.
an important resource. So
Totally missed it.
And again, in the 1984 one, they show how water is so valuable and why it's so valuable and the way that they work with it and stuff. And they make it. This line's in this one too. Your water will mix with our water.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is like when you take off your still suit, you empty your water like into a universal reservoir that then people can drink out of.
that's
which
recycled
is
and
pretty gross in the grand scheme of things. But if
Not
you live
really.
on a desert planet, well, it's pee water.
I mean, we
pee
do
and poo water.
we do that right now in the International Space Station.
Yeah,
You drink other
Astronauts
people's
do
sweat.
it.
Yes.
everything goes.
All the moisture, all the humidity that comes from, body heat or whatever, your sweat during workouts, it gets trapped into the system and then it gets recirculated into drinking water, as well as your urine.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
So it's happening already.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
pee in a cup and you get taster's choice.
And
I'd love to know when they came up with that system because I wonder if somebody read this book. and went,
Probably.
That's a good idea.
When did this movie come out? Or when did the book come out?
1960s.
Okay, so I think during the shuttle program when they were developing the ISS, they made that system then.
So 1970s, 1980s.
Yeah. 1998, I think, was the first module of
so it's very
the space
possible.
station.
Then.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well, I mean, it's another instance where science fiction
Influence.
influence real
for sure.
life.
Talking about the water thing, though, the spit thing, it's still weird to me. Like,
Well,
to me, it's
yeah.
like in
Just
the grand
don't think
scheme.
about it.
Well,
Just drink it.
it's not that.
It's like
I'm,
Alka-Seltzer. Just drink it.
I'm saying in the grand scheme of like water is so valuable and I'm going to waste some. I know that it's saying I'm going to waste some as a respectful thing. It just seems weird. Again, it's in the book. I understand. It just seems strange.
Well, in the movie, Momoa's character actually stops everybody from freaking the F out.
Right.
And he's
'Cause
like,
it's disrespectful.
It's their way of saying that you trust them.
Yeah.
Because you're actually expelling valuable resources to say, I trust you. So just leave it.
It'd be like throwing sand on the home planet
True.
because we don't have sand.
I guess.
Maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is that
I'm trying to
scene.
make sense of the nonsensical.
Yeah, there is that scene at the in the front of the base or whatever, and the guy's growing the palm trees or
Yes.
whatever kind of trees you call it, and then and they're talking about the heat is getting up to 120 degrees and all this. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's Florida.
It's Florida.
That's where they are.
Well, and those palm trees had drink enough water for five men apiece.
Yeah, 5 men a day or whatever.
So,
dear
and this one
Lord.
dude waters them, and they don't have the technology to set this on a digital timer or something?
Well,
No, they can't.
it's a power struggle too. It's a power thing. Like the Harkonnens planted them there as a sign of like, this is how powerful we are. We can waste 5 people's worth of water a day
For each tree.
for each one of these
Yeah,
trees
for
because
100 trees.
our nuts are that big
I
and we're
gotcha.
that expensive. You know, we're that rich. Like it's a
Well, it
it's
is
a
hot over
powerful.
there.
Yeah, it's a
One more
powerful.
question, and we'll probably go to the budget.
But I
Sure.
got one more thing I want to
Okay,
talk
you got
about.
you got a question. I got a question about the sword, this little dagger. What is this made out of?
Which little
the
dagger?
Chris
It's
Chris
the-
sword.
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
from the worm thing.
It's a sand tooth.
It's
It's
a-
a sandworm tooth.
it is a
Yeah,
sand tooth
it's
thing.
a tooth of
'cause
Shai Hulud.
you had said that, but I have to ask the
Well,
resident Dune
that's
expert.
right.
No,
Yeah.
it's a tooth of Shai Hulud. Yes.
Okay,
Which
there
is-
must be a lot of them out there because there was a lot of teeth in that thing.
There's a
So-
lot of a lot of knives.
Yeah.
No, because if you think about it, you got to kill a worm or find one dead in order to get a tooth from Shai Hulud. That's fucking difficult.
You
buddy.
probably have
something else I heard.
out of one worm. You probably got enough for the whole population of the planet.
Yeah, but they don't just kill them because they're fucking giants. So
But,
good.
but you know the worm riders.
Yes,
It said, and I don't know if you read the book, right?
I read part of it. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, it's been theorized that the people who can ride that not everybody can ride these worms,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's some type of magical mental connection between the rider and the worm.
Oh God, here comes Avatar.
Well, it's the
So-
spice. It's driven by the spice.
So
You find out more about the spice. I fucking hope they talk about the spice.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
in the second one.
That's
but
what I'm saying. Like this whole first movie was just a prelude.
yeah, but it's because of the spice that they have this like, and the spice serves as like they say it in the movie too in the 2021 where it serves like a hallucinogen. What they're calling a hallucinogen is it's kind of like a peyote to Native Americans. It's more than just a hallucinogen. It takes you to like this spiritual place. It allows you to do things that other people can't do.
Yeah.
Right. And in this case, you could I guess mind talk to a worm. Like that's
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Shai Hulud, though, they almost pseudo worship it because it controls their whole world. Like
Yeah.
they can't
Yeah,
be on
everything
the
they
sand.
do revolves around this thing.
Yeah, they can't be on the sand because it control. You know, they own the sandworms. The Shai Hulud owns the sand, so
Yeah.
it controls everything. For
I
them.
guarantee in the second one, Chalamet rides a worm.
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Well,
of
yeah.
course.
That happened.
that'll probably be the end.
Well, he's gonna
You're
be
the chosen one.
He's gonna. Well, never mind. I don't want to screw it up for you.
Yeah.
So what was your deal, Justin?
Well, I found this interesting. This guy, I don't know why, but this director keeps coming up in almost every episode of ours here for some reason. So in 2007, Paramount was started to develop Dune, another Dune film, and Peter Berg was attached to direct it.
We should have just called this show Peter Berg.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to Peter Berg.
6 degrees of
6
Peter
degrees.
Berg.
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
where
Yeah.
every movie has a tie to Peter Berg.
Yeah, so Peter Berg was tied to direct Dune back in 2007, but he dropped out because complications and all that, and he went to go and make Battleship.
I'm going to say this. I'm really kind of glad that he didn't because the early 2000s movies, not all of them, there's some good ones, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bad ones. And I could only imagine that this would have been, it could have gone the way of any one of those really bad early 2000 movies. Like Layer Cake, I like Layer Cake. Obviously, we watched it. I enjoy it. But it definitely looks like an early 2000. Like you got like bell-bottom pants and you got, you know, it's kind of grainy. It's got this like very distinctive type of look.
Well, you had that like anything that was in the early 2000s. That was when
We were transitioning.
we were
to digital.
transitioning to digital. Yeah, and digital wasn't
Wasn't
that great.
Yeah, it was okay.
But yet it was a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
to
but
film.
could you imagine the CGI?
Oh yeah,
Like think Planet like Phantom Menace
yes.
done through this lens, right? Or the second one. What was the second shitty prequel? Oh God!
I don't know.
The Force comes
Episode
back.
2.
Episode dose. I like it.
Yeah, sure. Episode 2.
Imagine the CGI in that done through this movie. It would have been laughable. Like it would have been
yeah,
worse.
sure.
Like the 1980s one, I can still appreciate it because it's the 1980s. You look at it and you go, it was the 80s. Chrysler had a computer car where it showed a fucking picture of the car with a light next to it.
Chrysler.
Showed you we're in a problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So what do you got for a budget?
Yeah, so with that, with all the CGI that's in this movie, how much? Or actually, the budget was $165 million.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Pretty steep for this type of movie.
Some money.
And they made all their money back and more because they've already greenlit Dose.
Yeah. So the opening weekend,
Yep, 90.
$41 million.
Wow.
Just in the opening weekend.
Is that just theaters or is that streaming too?
It just says opening weekend, U.S. and Canada. So
Okay. Because there was a famous fight that Villeneuve was having with Paramount, or I think is that who did this?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
Warner
did
Brothers,
this.
yeah.
Because they announced that they were going to release it on streaming at the same time as theaters.
Oh.
And he said the way we made this, we spent 3 years cultivating this to be seen in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really pissed off at the studio because he thought that because he was banking on the studio green lighting part 2
Oh, right.
based off of the return that they're going to get from theater
Yeah.
sales.
Right.
So fortunately, after that came out online and all this stuff, Warner Brothers came back and said, no, we're also going to be looking at streaming numbers and all that too. So
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers was also quoted as saying, COVID.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
probably.
Warner
That's how
Brothers
they went
didn't
with
care.
that.
They was like, we're getting bought out by Discovery. So,
But
See
so
ya.
far, gross worldwide, though, it has made $352.7 million.
And it's been out, what, 2 months?
Yeah, October 24th is when it came out.
Okay.
So not even?
Not
Hold
even
on.
a month.
Not
It's
even
been
a
out
month.
And it's made $352 million.
Okay.
well, there you go.
And I think it's been in theaters, or it was in theaters for about 3.5 weeks.
Jesus.
Now,
Which is ridiculous.
It did come out overseas, 2 months ahead, I believe,
Okay.
before it came out over here.
Okay.
In fact,
Was it
about
Japan, maybe?
I think the China market or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
But I know about a week or 2 weeks before it opened up in theaters here that it was leaked online too.
Well, that obviously didn't hurt
it didn't hurt
the gross
sales, I
worldwide
don't
sales.
think, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listening to that, I got some Rotten Tomatoes scores here. So the audience gives Dune 2021 version a 90%, and
Okay.
the critics give it an 82%.
Okay.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and do the screenwriter scores, and since this was my movie, so I really wanted to like this. Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors. The movie's gorgeous, like we said. Besides that one part that I thought was a little bit too dark, I'll have to see if that was my fault or the movie's. But the score was a little annoying to me. I watch all of our movies with subtitles on. Mm-hmm. You know how many times it said ominous score plays?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
That's fine. Well, that was Hans Zimmer falling asleep on the synthesizer.
Oh.
Yes. Now again, like you guys say that you don't like Timothee Chalamet. I do like him as an actor. Ever since I saw him in that Netflix movie, The King, which is based off of Henry V, which is kind of the same storyline this is. You know, like a young guy grows up, his father passes away, he has to become king. He, through trials and tribulations, he learns about himself and the world, and he becomes better. It's kind of the same storyline, I guess, with Henry V. But man, I'm stalling because I don't really know what to give this. I did not have a score in mind or anything about this.
I'm the same way, by the way. I didn't either, and I'm still kind of like, how do I really feel? Like I'm kind of torn.
We talked a lot about a lot of stuff was not explained very well.
No. But it's so damn beautiful that you're like, I can overlook that. I'll just watch National Geographic again. Like, that's not bad.
Well,
it was like a Planet Earth documentary.
Well, I'm sitting here also thinking like I have to score this based off of this movie alone, not knowing anything about the other movie or the books, or knowing that there's a part 2 coming out,
or knowing that I just basically explained the movie that didn't exist before I explained it.
Which I feel like I would be more inclined to enjoy the movie based off of your explanation.
Oh, so if I was sitting next to you explaining the movie while you watched it, you would enjoy the movie more? Or not a good sign.
No, you're right.
Yeah, or if you were to watch maybe the original.
Well, and that's what I said. Like, they made the movie for fans, and it just it fall. But to me, it's like, okay, unless you, I mean, I guess you could still enjoy it. You just won't know what you're missing. But to me, it's really boring if you don't know that movie is far deeper than the surface level. You know what? I just got a score. Than the shit level that they gave it. It's really a boring movie.
Yeah,
like they don't go to any depth.
That's where I'm headed.
Yeah. Like that's kind of sucks actually.
It might be interesting that whenever part 2 comes out, when we review it, if
it helps.
If it helps and all that stuff. Okay. Man.
1 to 10. 0 to 10 actually.
Can we give zeros?
Yes,
you can, but that would be really rough for this one.
No.
It would be rough.
Jesus, we've seen
worse. That would be Eddie bad.
We've seen worse movies.
I was just saying in general. Like,
okay.
Think of my movies, Justin, and then look at this movie. It does not hold a candle.
Because I really wanted to like this because I like a lot of the actors in it. I like the cinematographer that's in it that did it. I like the director. I don't know anything about the source material. I guess the biggest problem I have is a lot of the stuff is unexplained, and I had to have Mr. Mansplain it, and because of that,
you know what? I love me. Nobody else does, but I do.
We love you too, Mansplain.
Jesus.
You know what? I'm gonna go 5.5.
Okay,
that's where I'm gonna go.
It's respectable.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. I always dislike movies that you have to read the book to understand. Yeah. I just don't like that. I think even if you fuck the source material then completely, and the person who read the book is like, no, they screwed the book up. Like the movie was still good, though. I can deal with it, right? I don't like that you don't get any of the story. Like, you just don't get any of it. Yeah, Baron Harkonnen is a really diabolical guy. And in this, he's just the guy in the shadows and in the oil tank. And then he's a little grumpy. And then he tries to kill Duke Leto.
I mean, he seems like a little string puller.
Yeah. But,
to a degree.
But you don't get that he's like this like very sadistic bastard. Right. You don't get that. Right? You don't get that he's got this completely twisted side. And that's just one character. I'm just using him as an example. I definitely didn't like what they did to Jason Momoa by shaving him. I'm sorry. Don't mess my man up like that. And then... Amen. And then... I'm fine with making Paul 15 because that's what he is in the book. I don't like Timothee Chalamet. I just don't like him. He comes across very weird to me. Oscar Isaacs, is that his name?
Yes.
Poe.
Which is another actor I really like.
And see, I don't either. I don't hate him in this. I like him far more in this than I do in Star Wars. In Star Wars, he sticks out to me like Jason Momoa does in this to me. Like in this movie, right? Like, it's just, I don't like the character doesn't seem to fit in the universe. But Oscar Isaacs overall, I think, did fine. Lady Jessica, I thought was blech. Could have been any actress. I didn't see anything that made her special. Hate to be that way, but I didn't.
And the actress that they have makes her look like she's like just 5 years older than Chalamet,
which doesn't help. Yeah. Like, well, and what's funny is, isn't Chalamet like 26 years old or something?
Yeah, he's like 25, 26.
And I'm pretty sure the actress they have playing is like 32. So probably, like 6 or 7 years older. Fucking awkward. How about you get an actual kid to play 15 instead of a 27-year-old dude? Just a thought. Anyway, is Disney Channel completely out of kids now?
But Timothee Chalamet is pretty.
I don't care. He looks like the Gavin Rossdale of this generation. Anyway.
So what say you, Sir Eddie?
I'm going 2.5.
Wow.
And my main reason being, I love the look of it. I absolutely love the look of it. But you got to tell a story, and they didn't.
Wow. Kyle? So my score wasn't going to be that low, but it's pretty low because at the very end of this movie, I was robbed.
Yeah.
Just because I was expecting to have a total new world happen, and then it's credits. I'm like, wait, whoa, hang on, what? I spent 2.5 hours to get to this point to tell me nothing. Cool. What a waste of time. Mm-hmm. It was boring. I mean, yeah, if I wanted to watch a National Geographic film, or I would just watch Planet Earth from BBC or something. I mean, that's what I just watched with sandworms.
Beetlejuice.
I mean, everything was visually stunning. The CGI was amazing. The water was really cool. I remember making a mental note on when the ship from the other family, the Chalamet family, Atreides. I kept wanting to say Artemis or something like that, but Atreides. When the ship was
Calderon?
when the ship was coming out of the water.
Yeah,
it's really difficult to do water in CGI, but that water looked fantastic.
No, again, if you turn off the audio and you just watch the movie, I think it's fantastic. Like, it looks gorgeous.
The explosions looked awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything looks great.
Everything about this movie looked great.
I would take the production team in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
just a different scriptwriter.
Cinematographer. He did Rogue One. He did Zero Dark 30. He did Vice. I mean, it's just like, okay, these are really well shot films, and so is this one.
Yeah,
that's where it ends.
Yeah,
like the dialogue is okay. Some parts are quiet, but for the most part, it was a kind of boring movie, and I was kind of lost probably about 75% of the time. Not necessarily of the storytelling, but just the lack of information that I had and then why are these characters doing this? Mm-hmm. So I'd say with that, I'm going to do a 4.1.
4.1 for Kyle. John?
I feel cheated. The trailer lied to me. The trailer told me this was going to be a good movie that was different than what I actually got. So there's that. Liar or fraud?
Liar or fraud.
The movie is either too long or it's too short. One of the two. There's no in between. The dialogue to me, the majority of it seems forced. I didn't, especially like the Dave Bautista scenes and stuff. And I really don't like this Chris Nolan modern sound mixing. It really pisses me off. It's like dialogue is like third place, and the sound effects and the score are first and second.
Yeah. Well, not to interrupt you, but when I was watching this, when Paul and Jessica are talking, when they have their still suits on and they have the mouth coverings, I'm like, oh, hey, take note, Christopher Nolan. That's how you do muffled dialogue with somebody wearing a mask.
I sound like this.
Yeah.
This is my natural speaking voice.
But I mean, you could understand them.
You could understand them, but I still need subtitles to actually understand them.
Yeah.
But I just wish that these big budget films would stop ruining TV audiences with that type of sound mix where it's low and muffled, where dialogue, the majority of the dialogue is low and muffled. I know we can't do this on the show, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to give this a score, but it's not going to be my final score until I see the next film.
Oh man,
I don't think we can do that.
We can't. I mean, I'm not going to go back and change it, but I'm reserving my final judgment, my inner final judgment, until I see part 2. I think once the two are combined, I think part 2 is going to be a better film.
Maybe we do a recap episode when part 2 comes out, and we do the whole part 1 and 2 together.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe a Patreon exclusive.
There we go.
Yeah. Let us know, patrons, if that's the route you want us to go. But if there isn't a part 2, if part 2 is a bomb, then I'm out of luck and my score stands. To me, the actual making of the film, like we said, is really good as far as the visuals and the effects. It's second to none. The allure of the big name actors is great, but they can only do so much when you don't show them that much in the film.
That's true.
It's like, okay, we got Baron Bootstrap Bill Harkonnen, but he's not seen. We got Jason Momoa, Aquaman, hardly seen, and
no beard.
And no beard, exactly. Yep. We have all these people, but if you don't see them on screen, well, they're not doing anything. Josh Brolin, I would love to see more of him. Yeah. Actual acting, in the film.
I forget what character was he again? He's Getty or something?
He's got
Gurney.
Gurney.
Yeah, he was Gurney.
Yeah, which in the original one was played by Patrick
Sir
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Yes, it was.
Exactly. Yes.
With a mullet.
So the storytelling isn't up to par what I expect an epic film to be.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, if you can do it with, if you can make this book, and if you can make the Lord of the Rings books into a film, you can do it with Dune. I will watch this one again, just to make sure that I'm understanding things properly in the context, because there was a way that there was a few times where I'm like, I zoned out a little, just a little bit. That being said, I shall give this movie, a 5.
An even 5?
An even 5.
Okay, so then that means that Dune 2021 gets a score of 4.3.
Okay.
Something interesting that you were talking about Josh Brolin's character Gurney. Like on HBO, if you scroll down past the movie, there'll be like little behind the scenes featurettes. Sometimes one of them was like the Baron, and since he was like the most interesting character to me, that has a little 5-minute thing about the Baron. The scar that Brolin has in his character Gurney is caused by the Baron, but they don't mention that at all in the movie.
Oh, well, there you go.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Well, they didn't have time to get it in, Justin. That's the problem. I mean, there was a lot
there's a
lot of trees to show or water.
A lot of sand.
Sifting through sand.
Eddie, you're up this week,
I
so
am.
we need to figure out what genre you're going to be spinning for.
Come on, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Already taken in.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was what I did.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
All right, here we go. Drama.
Drama?
Dun dun dun.
Green Giant.
Okay. I'm going to go with Old Boy 2013.
Old boy.
Old Boy.
2013. That's the Josh Brolin one.
Obsessed with vengeance, a man sets out to find out why he was kidnapped and locked into solitary confinement for 20 years without reason.
Yes.
Yeah, I would be obsessed with vengeance as well if I was trapped for 20 years.
Yeah, so it was directed by Spike Lee, and it stars Josh Brolin, Elizabeth Olsen, and Samuel L. Jackson.
So I'm going to tell you guys, like I did with,
All right,
with
Spike Lee.
like I've given you with other movies, fair warning, not for children.
Not for children.
Yes.
So, if you want to follow along at home, go to justwatch.com, look up Old Boy, make sure you're looking at the 2013 remake, because that's the one that we're going to be reviewing, and we'll see you back here next Saturday.
See ya.
Yep.
Later.